patience, something that we probably could all use a little bit more of, right? I know that I could, especially being cooped up in the house for going on however many weeks it's been. We're probably all starting to fray a little bit at the nerves. So how does patience tie into our fitness? Well, it's one of the most probably least talked about things and underrated things when it comes to succeeding in our fitness journey. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's episode, number 132. So strap in and let's go.
I've always been that skinny guy.
Why can't I gain muscle mass?
What do I do in the gym?
They said I'd always be skinny.
This is your complete source for how to gain lean muscle and break out of your skinny body. From nutrition to getting the most out of your workouts and everything in between. We know just how frustrating gaining muscle mass can be, but don't worry, we've got you covered. You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast. Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody, and I will be your host today. If you are a first-time listener, welcome to the show. So glad you are here. And for all our return listeners, thank you so much for coming back and finding value in this podcast. Really means a lot. If you have not checked out our YouTube channel, please do so. Head on over to youtube.com/bones to bulk. I put up a lot of full workout videos. I review products. I put together different nutritional videos, lots and lots of good content on there. I do 2 videos a week, just like the podcast, 2 podcast episodes a week. So head on over youtube.com/bones to bulk. All right, so let's dive into today's content. So patience. We are inundated with quick fixes, especially when it comes to fitness. The 30-day diet, the 30-day this, 30-day that, the 30. And what happens is we have all these expectations of getting the body we want in a very short amount of time. But here's the thing. How old are you? Like, just take a second and think about how old you are. And you have all those years behind you of unhealthy habits, of bad eating, of being raised eating unhealthy food. And what that does is what we don't even recognize sometimes is food has a very powerful hold over us, especially when you start playing into the emotions, because food can be a very emotional thing. A certain food can bring back memories of childhood. Certain smells of food can bring back memories. And so it's a very intimate thing, food. And we expect to change all that in 30 days. We expect to just undo all these habits, undo all these years of day in, day out eating a certain way and just be radically transformed in 30 days. Your body, think about how long it takes our bodies to grow. Usually 15, 16, we're kind of fully developed as far as we reach the height we're going to get and our body structure and all that. That's 15, 16 years, right? So why do we think we're going to be able to change our body's composition in 30 days if it took that long for us just to grow up, and to develop into our bodies? My point in bringing this up is that so often what I see is somebody will come to me and say, hey, I'm struggling because, I lost some or I gained some, and then it's been now a week or 10 days and nothing's changed on the scale. Well, okay, it's been a week or 10 days. You can't judge everything off such a short span of time. And another thing, don't rely so heavily on the scale. I say this all the time because usually what I try to help people with is strength training and building muscle, right? Maybe you're on the journey of losing fat and building muscle at the same time. Or maybe you're just starting off super skinny like I did and trying to gain muscle. You're not going to see necessarily huge jumps in the scale right away. You're just not. You have to think about how your body composition is changing. You're shedding body fat percentage, whether you're skinny fat, whether you're overweight, you're shedding fat and you're gaining muscle. And so your body composition is changing. Whether that reflects on the scale or not, it's changing. And so you've got to be aware that the scale is not just the only measurement we have out there. We need to feel how our clothes fit, how we're filling them out. We need to take measurements and check in with our waist, our thighs, our neck, our chest, and see how we are developing in those areas. And we have to give ourselves time. This may take months, this may take years. It all depends. We all have a different starting point. We all have different metabolisms and different habits and different schedules. And so nobody's journey is going to look the same. And so to look at these celebrity transformations in 45 days, first off, they're taking stuff that you don't want to take. Trust me, they are. And secondly, they're getting paid to work out, and they have personal trainers and they have nutritionists and they have people making their food. So you can't compare your journey to that. because most of us don't have that, even near those resources. So don't base your progress or your journey off of something like that, because that's just a bad thing to do. Now, secondly, you need to give yourself grace, because here's what happens with fitness. It's a constant journey. So you may start off and you may gain 10 pounds very quickly. Like maybe it'll happen in a few months and you've gained 10 pounds. You're like, all right, good progress. I can tell that I'm stronger. I can see a little bit of muscle now. And then a month goes by and nothing changes. Well, guess what? It's time to adjust. As we get stronger, as we develop, as we get more muscle, our bodies adapt to that. And so our bodies are always going to catch up to what we're putting them through. You know, the human body is an incredible thing because it can adapt to almost anything. And so it's no different with this. You know, we get stronger, we start lifting weights, we start gaining some muscle, then we have that muscle to do those tasks, and our body's like, okay, I'm capable of now doing this. But now, to boost that level up another level, we have to push ourselves even harder. We have to push our muscles more. We have to maybe eat more food to gain more muscle. And then we may gain steadily for a few months, and then we hit another plateau, and then it's time to change things up again. And this shouldn't discourage you. It shouldn't say, oh man, I got to constantly be changing. I got to constantly be working. Like, it's just part of the journey. You know, think about it as if you're taking on a job and you're working and you want to move up in the company. You don't go from the lowest paid employee to the CEO in one fell swoop. You work your way up. You do good at your base job and you get promoted, and you do good at that job and you get promoted, and then you maybe move into a supervisor position, and then a manager position, and then a head exec position, and then eventually, when you've been with the company for who knows how many years, you can work your way up to CEO level. It doesn't happen overnight, and nobody would expect to start working at like Starbucks and become the next CEO in a month. That would just be ludicrous to think that, right? So it's no different with our bodies. It's a constant building stepping stone where we get to a certain level, and then we have to change things up and push ourselves even more. And we get to the next level and we push ourselves, and just this continual growing journey. Now, another thing you have to realize is think about it kind of as a mountain, like a very tall mountain. As you get closer to the top, and I don't think there's this elusive peak with fitness where you're never going to have like perfect fitness level. There's always going to be things to improve on. So there's not like an end point. But what I'm saying is, as you get up the mountain, you're building strength, right? But as you get higher, it gets harder because the elevation increases. It's more vertical. The air starts getting thinner. So in order to make, progress at those higher levels, it's much harder. And it's the same way with fitness. Usually the base comes pretty quickly. Usually that middle part slows down a little bit, but you still make pretty good progress. And then once you really start to hone in on the body you like and you're really developing muscle, that last little bit can take time. It really can. Because again, we're changing the entire structure and functionality of our body. It's a huge thing. So be patient with it. Take your time. Enjoy the journey. Like, for real, enjoy it. Because if you don't enjoy fitness, at least to some regard, and I'm not saying like you have to love working out, because trust me, there's plenty of days where I do not want to work out. Like, let's be real here. I'm not saying that, but there has to be something inside you that is strong enough to push you forward, that says, you know what? Yeah, I don't feel like working out today, but I know this is what I need. This is what my body needs. This is what, my family deserves for me to stay healthy, or whatever it is. And focusing on that and really sticking to that. So I hope this encourages you to not give up. If you're early on in the journey and you're starting to see progress slow down, like don't get discouraged. Figure out ways to push harder, increase your calories, change up foods you eat. I've been at this for a long time now, and I still am constantly readjusting my nutrition intake. I'm constantly still figuring out, okay, how can I get better? I can switch from 2% milk to 1% milk. Now, that may not seem like a huge difference, but when it's something that I have a glass every single day, the compound effect of that is going to add up. It's those micro things that you have to pay attention to. Cutting out peanut butter and replacing it with PB powder may not seem like a huge deal, but it is. So, it's not always the huge leap that you have to change. Sometimes it's the small things. So I hope this encourages you. If you are on any social media platform, please check us out. We are on pretty much everything: Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. We are at Bones to Bulk everywhere. If you'd like to send me a direct message, please do so. I love hearing from you. And the best place to do that, you can either email me or shoot me a direct message on Instagram. Again, it's at Bones to Bulk. And if you're on Facebook, we have an incredible group of people that really support each other. There's no BS in there. I don't allow that, but it's just people in all walks of the journey, encouraging one another and learning from each other. And so if you're on Facebook, head on over and check out the Bones to Bulk group. Great place to get connected in. All right. With that being said, remember, no matter what anybody has told you, what walls you're hitting, what plateaus you've hit, you can get around them, get over them. You can hit your goals. You've got this.